Hello, little dreamers. Are you nestled in your blankets, ready for an extraordinary tale? Tonight, we'll embark on a delightful journey into the forest, where a clever fox and a graceful stork learn important lessons about friendship and kindness. Close your eyes if you like, snuggle in tight, and let your imagination take flight as we dive into the enchanting story of the fox and the stork. In a lush green forest where the trees whispered secrets to the wind, there lived a clever fox named Felix. Felix was known for his cunning tricks and his sly smile that seemed to harbor 1,000 secrets. He had a bushy tail, sharp eyes, and a coat that gleamed like copper under the sun. One day, while lounging beneath an ancient oak tree, Felix pondered over his next trick. His whiskers twitched with mischief as he thought, "It's been too quiet in this forest. It's time for a little fun." Felix decided to play a trick on his neighbor, a stork named Stella. Stella was elegant and dignified, with long legs and an even longer beak. She was admired by all for her grace and kindness. With a chuckle, Felix sprang up and trotted toward Stella's home, plotting his playful scheme. As Felix approached Stella's nest, he found her sorting through twigs and leaves, her beak deftly weaving them into a sturdy pattern. He watched for a moment, marveling at her skill. "Good day, dear Stella," Felix called out, flashing his most charming smile. Stella looked up, her eyes twinkling. "Why, hello there, Felix. What brings you to my neck of the woods?" "I was just thinking," Felix began, his tone smooth as silk. "It's been ages since we shared a meal together. How about you come to my den for dinner tomorrow? I'd love to treat you to a feast." Stella, ever polite, was delighted by the invitation. "Thank you, Felix. I would be honored to join you," she replied, her voice warm with sincerity. "Wonderful!" Felix exclaimed, his eyes gleaming with mischief. "Come by at sundown. I promise you a meal to remember." As Felix bounded away, Stella returned to her nest, blissfully unaware of the trick that awaited her. The following day, Felix busied himself in his cozy den, which was nestled beneath a sprawling pine tree. He gathered ingredients from the forest, wild herbs, plump berries, and fresh stream water. He simmered a delicious soup, its aroma wafting through the air, promising a scrumptious meal. But Felix, true to his mischievous nature, had a plan. He poured the soup into shallow bowls, knowing full well that Stella's long beak would make it difficult for her to eat. "This will be quite the dinner," Felix chuckled to himself, imagining Stella's perplexed expression. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Felix set the table, eager for Stella's arrival. Stella arrived on time, gracefully landing near Felix's den. The scent of the soup was enticing, and she felt her stomach rumble with anticipation. "Welcome, Stella," Felix greeted, leading her inside. "Please, make yourself comfortable." Stella admired the effort Felix had put into preparing the meal. "It smells wonderful, Felix. Thank you for going to such lengths," she said gratefully. They settled down to eat, and Stella quickly realized the challenge before her. As she tried to sip the soup, her long beak awkwardly clattered against the bowl, barely collecting any of the delicious broth. Felix, on the other hand, lapped up his portion with ease, watching Stella's struggle with a gleam of amusement in his eyes. "Is everything all right, my dear friend?" Felix asked, feigning innocence. Stella looked up, her eyes meeting Felix's. She realized she had been fooled, yet she maintained her composure. "Oh, it's quite all right, Felix. I suppose I'm just not very hungry." Though Stella was hungry, she chose not to let Felix see her frustration. Instead, she gracefully thanked him for the meal and took her leave. As Stella flew home, she pondered over Felix's trick. Rather than feeling upset, she decided to teach Felix a gentle lesson in return. The following week, Stella invited Felix over for dinner at her nest. "I'd love to return your kindness, Felix. Please come by tomorrow evening," she suggested with a knowing smile. Felix, curious and unsuspecting, readily accepted the invitation. "I look forward to it, Stella," he replied, intrigued by what she might serve. The night of the dinner, Felix trotted over to Stella's home, his stomach rumbling with hunger and curiosity. As Felix arrived, he noticed the lovely setup Stella had prepared. The sweet aroma of stew filled the air, and Felix's mouth watered in anticipation. "Welcome, Felix," Stella said warmly, gesturing to the table. "I've prepared something special for you." On the table were two elegant tall jars filled with a rich, savory stew. Stella gracefully dipped her long beak into the jar, savoring every bite with ease. Felix, however, found himself in a predicament. His short snout could not reach the delicious stew at the bottom of the jar. He tipped and turned the jar, but no matter his efforts, he could only manage a taste. Stella watched Felix's struggles with a soft smile. She didn't laugh or mock him, but simply continued to enjoy her meal. Felix paused, realizing the cleverness of Stella's plan. He chuckled, finally understanding how it felt to be on the receiving end of a trick. "You've outsmarted me, Stella," Felix admitted with a good-natured grin. "I see now that my little prank was not very kind." Stella nodded gently, her eyes full of understanding. "We all learn in different ways, Felix. The important thing is to share happiness, not just a meal." From that day forward, Felix and Stella's friendship grew stronger. Felix learned to be more considerate of others and often shared meals that both could enjoy together. They would laugh under the stars, recalling their dinners and the lessons learned. Stella often brought her favorite treats, and Felix delighted in sharing the fruits and berries he gathered. The forest thrived with their camaraderie, and their bond inspired other animals to treat each other with kindness and understanding. As the seasons changed, the forest became a tapestry of colors. Felix and Stella would walk along the winding paths, reminiscing about their adventures and their shared meals. Felix often said, "I'm grateful for your patience and wisdom, Stella. You taught me that true friendship is built on understanding and respect." Stella would reply with a twinkle in her eye, "And I'm grateful for your humor, Felix. You remind me to always find joy, even in the simplest moments." Their friendship was a testament to the forest, echoing through the trees and inspiring stories among the other creatures. Moral of the story: true friendship is grounded in kindness and mutual respect. Practical jokes can backfire. Instead, let's choose to uplift each other. Understanding and compassion help us grow together. Thank you for joining us for the story of the fox and the stork. Remember, little dreamers, every friendship has its ups and downs, but with kindness and understanding, it can bloom beautifully. Close your eyes now, let your dreams take flight, and sleep softly under the moonlit sky. Good night, sweet dreams.